This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10, starting all the way from the top. Now I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Mashiach, who in presence am base among you, but being a base, Salakia, but being absent and bold toward you, I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yah, to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Yah, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Mashiach, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. Do ye look on things after the outward appearance? If any man trust to himself that he is Mashiach's, let him of himself think this again, that as he is Mashiach's, even so are we Mashiach's. For though I should boast somewhat more of our authority, which Yahweh hath given us for edification, and not for your destruction, I should not be ashamed, that I may not seem as if I would terrify you by letters. For his letters, say they, are weighty and powerful, but his bodily presence is weak, and his speech contemptible. Let such an one think this, that such as we are in word by letters when we are absent, such will we be also indeed when we are present. For we dare not make ourselves of number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves, but they measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves are not wise. But we will boast of things without our measure, but according to the measure of the rule which Yah hath distributed to us, a measure to reach even unto you. For we stretch not ourselves beyond our measure, as though we reach not unto you. For we are come as far as to you also in preaching the gospel of Mashiach, not boasting of things without our measure, that is, of other men's labors, but having hope when your faith is increased, that we shall be enlarged by you according to our rule abundantly, to preach the gospel in the regions beyond you, and not to boast in another man's line of things made ready to our hand. But he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord. For not he that commendeth himself is approved, but whom the Lord commendeth. Recap. 2 Corinthians chapter 3. Salak. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. Many aren't fighting hard enough because they don't grasp that reality completely. They don't grasp that reality completely, that we're not warring in the flesh when you're talking about spiritual warfare. A lot of people try to engage in spiritual warfare with carnal matters, with their flesh. No. Verse 4 clarifies that, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yah to the pulling down of strongholds. They're mighty through Yah to the pulling down of strongholds. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Yah, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Mashiach. That's the context there. You're not warring after the flesh. Your weapons aren't carnal, but we're casting down imaginations, because a lot of the spiritual warfare that takes place works through your heart, your mind, the things that you're imagining inside your mind, your vain imaginations. So when engaging in spiritual warfare to conquer such spiritual wickedness that works through the imaginations, are you using your imagination to conquer such spiritual wickedness? If you're not using the same imagination that spiritual wickedness is attacking, then you're not fighting hard enough in spiritual warfare. What did verse 5 say? Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Yah, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Mashiach. So you're bringing your thoughts into captivity to the obedience of Mashiach. You're conquering your thoughts. You're conquering your thoughts to have the same obedience as Mashiach did toward the Father. You're conquering your thoughts. So therefore, if you're not using your imagination to fight against spiritual wickedness, if you're not imagining the armor of Yah and slaying spiritual wickedness with the sword of Yah, right? The word of Yah, the sword of the Spirit, then you're not fighting hard enough. If you can't imagine that, you're not fighting hard enough. Verse 5 again, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Yah, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Mashiach. You engage in spiritual warfare with your mind a lot. You're fighting against spiritual wickedness with your mind a lot, whether you know it or you don't know it. Those times you've conquered spiritual wickedness in such battles when they attacked you, did you not pray, and did you not use your mind while you were praying? Now, if you can pray and use your mind, you can also use your imagination in the conquering of such spiritual wickedness. There's a reason why when you get older, the system tries to program you from using less of your imagination than you did when you were younger. It's so that they can put those yokes of spiritual wickedness around your neck and have you in spiritual bondage to be in full submission of the wickedness of Babylon. That's why there's a underlining shame for any adult to advocate using their imagination. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 5 tells us specifically, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Yah, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Mashiach. Verse 3, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. See, Babylon wants you warring after the flesh. Babylon wants you to do everything carnal. Babylon wants you to have a carnal solution to everything. But our weapons of warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through Yah to pulling down the strongholds. You have a certain stronghold, Babylon tells you to go see a therapist, go see a psychiatrist, get on some medicine. And in some cases, that may be necessary, but that's not the ultimate solution. And that's just an example that I'm using in such avocations of the world as to how they have you fight carnally instead of spiritually. Verse 8, for though I should boast somewhat more of our authority, which Yahweh, the Lord, has given us for edification and not for your destruction, I should not be ashamed. So we've been given authority. It's not Yah, our strength and power. Is Yah not our strength and power? Did Mashiach not give us power over serpents and scorpions? Can we not do all things through Mashiach? Use your imagination. Use your imagination in spiritual warfare. If you're not doing that, you're not fighting hard enough. Shalom.